Imagine living in a world where your happiness isn't tied to the love you get from other people, where the longing looks, missed calls, and thinking of you messages don't affect how you feel. This is not a story from the past. It's a reality that you can live in right now. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has stood the test of time, teaches us that we can find inner peace and happiness no matter what is going on around us. But how does this relate to wanting someone to miss you? In love and relationships, we often find ourselves wanting the attention and affection of others, thinking that this X will miss us. In today's film, we talk in depth about the Stoic way of life and love. Adopting the Stoic principles can not only make our lives better, but it can also change our relationships in surprising ways. Stay with me as we talk about how to make them miss you, not by playing games or planning your every move, by becoming a model of independence and happiness. As always, your support means the world to us. A simple but meaningful way you can help is by clicking the subscribe button. It's a small action that makes a big difference. Please watch the whole video, because each part has been carefully chosen to help you live a more fulfilling life. Seeking external approval is very easy to do. We often judge our worth by how others react, what they say, and how much attention we get, especially in personal relationships. But what if I told you there's a more empowering, long-lasting way to be happy? The Stoic way tells us to pay attention to what we can change, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, while accepting what we can't change, like other people's feelings and actions. Being emotionless or indifferent doesn't mean giving up your feelings. It means realizing that your happiness and sense of self-worth come from inside, not from someone else's approval or attention. Think about it. When we depend on someone else's actions or lack of actions to make us happy, we give up our power and become reactive to them, which can send our emotions on a roller coaster. Stoicism, on the other hand, gives us the tools to get off this ride. By developing values like moderation, justice, wisdom, and courage, we can build a strong, resilient character that enjoys personal growth and success. This doesn't mean we should shut ourselves off or stop thinking about other people. Stoicism doesn't call for emotional distance, but for emotional strength. It tells us to build healthy, meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, not neediness or dependence. Also, when we put self-improvement first, we naturally become more interesting and attractive to others. People are drawn to people who are sure of themselves, passionate about their interests, and happy with who they are. In a strange way, the less we try to make someone miss us, the more likely it is that they will, because we'll be living our best, most authentic lives. Let's stop trying to get approval and start caring for our inner world. Let's make time to learn new things, exploring new hobbies, and deepening our understanding of who we are and what we stand for. This journey of self-improvement is not only fulfilling in itself, but also makes us more admirable and, yes, missable in the eyes of others. Remember, the goal of Stoicism is not to suppress our desires or deny our need for connections, but to remind us that our happiness and worth are not dependent on them. By anchoring ourselves in the principles of Stoicism, we can enjoy a life of peace, satisfaction, and true independence. So let's embrace the Stoic way, focusing on self-improvement and finding joy within ourselves, because that's where true happiness lies. At the heart of Stoicism is the understanding that our reactions to external events are within our control, even if the events themselves are not. This principle is incredibly empowering. It means that we hold the key to our emotional state, granting us a level of independence that's liberating. Emotional resilience, according to Stoicism, isn't about numbing ourselves to feelings or detaching from the world around us. Instead, it's about acknowledging our emotions, understanding them, and deciding not to let them dictate our actions. The Stoics said that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. This isn't just a way to find peace in our lives, it's also a way to become emotionally strong when we stop letting things get to us. We develop a deep and useful sense of independence, by letting outside forces, like other people's actions or social pressures, affect our health. Being independent doesn't mean being alone. Instead, it gives us the power and confidence to interact with the world. Think about the idea of mental resilience in terms of relationships. Stoicism teaches us that even though we can love and care about other people, our happiness shouldn't depend on their presence or approval. This way of thinking encourages us to build relationships based on mutual respect and real connection, not on dependence or fear of being alone. By building emotional strength, we can enjoy deep, meaningful relationships without getting lost in them. Stoicism's focus on living in harmony with nature and letting life's ups and downs strengthens our mental strength. It tells us that the only thing that stays the same is change, and how well we can deal with it shows how strong we are. This ability to adapt doesn't come from being passive. It comes from actively pursuing our values and goals. So how do we develop this independence and mental strength? It starts with being aware of ourselves and regularly thinking about our feelings, thoughts, and reactions to the problems we face in life. It means being thankful, focusing on the present, and doing things that are in line with our core values. Most importantly, it means questioning our perceptions and asking ourselves if our emotional responses are based on current events or old beliefs. By adopting Stoicism, we learn to handle life's storms not by looking for shelter in other people, but by becoming our own lighthouse. This path to independence and mental strength is not a solitary one. It's made better by the experiences of those who have gone before us. Adding Stoic principles to our lives makes us happier, stronger in hard times, and better able to keep relationships balanced. Stoic philosophers such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus talked a lot about how important it is to live a life that is in line with one's nature and the nature of the universe. At its core, this means figuring out what's important in life and committing to it, and to follow them even when things get hard or when it seems easy to just behave the way everyone else does. Stoicism gives us a way to guide our self-reflection by telling us to think about not only our acts, but also the reasons behind them. Are we acting because we want to be good or because we want to be approved by other people? Even more, Stoicism teaches us that things outside of our control change all the time, and that we should focus on what we can control. This way of thinking is freeing because it frees us from the tyranny of trying to control things we can't control and directs our energies toward things we can really change. In this way, having a worthwhile life is less about what we accomplish and more about how we live and the way we think about each day. Taking a Stoic view of life also means accepting that pain and failures are normal parts of being human. Instead of seeing them as things that get in the way of our happiness, we can see them as chances to grow. We gain strength and a better understanding of how complicated life is. This doesn't mean we look for pain. It just means we find meaning in beating it, learning from it, and moving on with a stronger spirit and a more compassionate heart. A meaningful life is made up of both big and small actions that we do every day. It's found in the way we treat others, the honesty with which we do our work, and the passion we bring to our interests. It's the times we take to think about our place in the universe, enjoy nature, take care of ourselves, and make connections with others that these Stoic-based actions weave together to make a tapestry of a life well lived. Let's remember that the Stoic path to a meaningful life is not a solo journey. It's a path we walk together, supporting each other through shared wisdom and experiences by basing our lives in Stoicism. The Stoics knew early on that a lot of our anger, frustration, and even hopelessness comes from trying to control things that we can't. We often spend a lot of energy trying to change situations, outcomes, and even other people to fit our needs, only to find that we can't do much of it. This shouldn't make us sad. It should free us from the chains we put on ourselves that hold us back from reaching our goals. Stoicism tells us to let go of our need to be in charge, but that doesn't mean we have to sit back and watch our lives happen. Instead, it means putting our efforts where they can really make a difference. Our internal world, our thoughts, feelings, decisions, and actions, is where we really have control. This is where we can develop virtues like patience, understanding, and resilience. This is where we can find peace. According to Stoic philosophy, letting go of control means a deep acceptance of the natural flow of events. It's about knowing the difference between our efforts and their results and realizing that, while we can try to change the former, we can't change the latter. Those often fall outside of our direct control. This doesn't take away from the value of hard work. It just puts it in a healthier context. When we align our actions with our values and let go of specific outcomes, we engage with life more fully and honestly. This Stoic teaching also encourages us to see each moment as a chance to practice acceptance and grow in wisdom. It asks us to question our deepest beliefs about control, success, and safety. And when we do this, we often find that giving up the need to be in charge means accepting adaptability and flexibility. It means being ready for the unexpected and having the courage to face unknowns with an open mind and heart. It's about learning to deal with life's problems with grace and seeing them as chances to learn more about ourselves and grow as people. When we apply this Stoic principle to our daily lives, our relationships get stronger, our stress levels go down, and our appreciation for the present moment grows. We start to understand that control isn't something we have to worry about. Letting go of our need for control, as taught by Stoicism, is not the same thing as giving up power. It's about reclaiming it in its most powerful form. It's a journey toward inner freedom that changes how we see and interact with the world in profound ways. As we start this journey, we find a life that isn't marked by the external validation of control, but by the internal validation of peace, resilience, and It's clear that this old philosophy is more than just a list of rules. It's a way of life that is strongly rooted in wisdom, strength, and peace. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's important and how to handle the ups and downs of life with grace and calm. The exercises and practices we've talked about aren't just ideas. They're real tools that can be incorporated into our daily lives to turn problems into chances for growth and better understanding. When we embrace Stoicism, we're not just learning to let go of things we can't change, we're also learning to accept them as they are. It's about creating a place of peace inside that stays steady no matter what storms happen outside. The path to Stoicism doesn't promise a life without trouble or pain, but it does promise something much more valuable: the strength to face problems with courage, the wisdom to choose actions that are in line with virtue, and the serenity to accept what we can't change. It teaches us that even though we can't change the outside world, we can change how we think, feel, and act. As we apply Stoic principles to our daily lives, we start to see happiness, success, and fulfillment in a different light. We realize that true happiness doesn't come from external praise or material things, but from living in line with our deepest values and virtues. This realization is the key to the rest of our lives. Let's keep looking into things and growing together to learn more. I want you to watch one of the videos mentioned on the screen until next time. Remember that the journey within is the most important journey of all.